This episode is brought to you by Distill Union. Hi everyone, this is Edgar, the host of Snug Wrestling. They design everyday carry gear with one simple idea: less but better. From slim Wally wallets with magnetic closures to Ferris key organizers, they keep everything clean and quiet. Distill Union makes carrying your essentials effortless. Built from full grain leather and backed by a 3-year warranty, simplify your carry and save 20% off with promo code SNUG at DistillUnion.com. That's 20% off with promo code SNUG at DistillUnion.com.
Hey, this is your Olympic hero, Kurt Angle, and you're listening to Snug Wrestling. Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome. It's time for the Snug Wrestling Podcast. My name is Edgar. I'm the host. Tommy, our NXT expert, is here with us tonight because it is Wednesday, which means we're going to be going over NXT from this week. The fallout of what we saw at Vengeance Day, right? That was the last PLE that they had was Vengeance Day. So we had a lot of things to look forward to for this episode, and we're going to cover everything that went down this week over at the Performance Center. But first, Tommy, welcome. We missed you on Monday. Good to have you back, dog. How you feeling today, bro?
I'm feeling good. Just got finished hanging out with my girlfriend now. So, feeling good. Watched the show fully, except for the fucking entrances, because I decided to skip those. Because I'm like, if I don't, this shit's going to feel like forever. Because it's like 5 minutes of damn entrance at this point. So, I ended up skipping all those. But overall, the show was pretty good. Main event was one hell of a thing.
Yeah, I didn't watch this live either. Usually I watch it live, but I watched it earlier today, so I did a lot of skipping through mostly the entrances and some of the backstage video packages as well. I didn't have to sit through the whole 2 hours of this thing, so it kind of flew by. I don't know if I could say it was a good episode of NXT. At least compared to the last couple of weeks, because I feel like the last couple of weeks, the shows were pretty great. And then this week, maybe because I wasn't watching it live, it was a different vibe for me. But I didn't really enjoy this episode of NXT as much as I did the last few, Tommy. But compared to the last 2 episodes of NXT, Tommy, how did you feel about this?
Yeah, it is a little bit of a dip compared to the others as of late, but overall, it had its good moments. It definitely had its bad, especially with the fact that all good old Tatum Paxley did, as much as I love her, she did her promo segment and then was backstage looking for Izzy Dame the entire time.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because Tatum Paxley, the new North American champion after she defeated Izzy Dame on Vengeance Day, started off NXT. And you know, the fans love Tatum Paxley, right? She's over. Tatum Paxley's over. She's the new champion. She's cutting the promo where she's thanking the fans. I did this for you guys. You know, just putting herself over and putting the fans over, right? So everyone's in love with Tatum Paxley, right? But then here comes Izzy Dame again, and even Tatum Paxley was like, just go away, and that's how I was feeling about this whole fucking feud. Just go away. But no, I'm kidding. This feud is actually, it's a feud. You know, I can't complain too much about it. They have been at each other's throats for a long time, it seems like. But you know, it's storytelling. It's long term, so we can't complain when they do it, and then when they don't have enough feuds or personal issues, we can't complain about that either. So Izzy Dame came out, interrupted Tatum Paxley, and this feud continues. It's not over yet, Tommy. What was your first thoughts when you saw Izzy Dame coming out to interrupt Tatum Paxley?
When I saw Izzy Dame come out, my initial thought, what the hell is she going to complain about now? Because that's really her thing. is anything big that happens to Tatum. I like Izzy. I do. But she has a habit of complaining about shit. Which, after everything later on in the show, we got an announcement. It will be Izzy Dame versus Tatum Paxley next week in a rematch for that North American title.
For next week, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. The rematch is happening very soon. And again, man, I like these two working together. They're kind of like opposites attract in a way, you know, because Izzy Dane comes out and she shows this video package of a bunch of old clips of Tatum Paxley when she first started in NXT. And this was during a time where I wasn't watching NXT, to be honest. So the Tatum Paxley that I know is the one that we see today, which is this version of Tatum Paxley that everyone loves. You know, she has like this gimmick going for her now that's gotten over with the crowd. But it was cool to see the old Tatum Paxley, the original Tatum Paxley, the much younger Tatum Paxley. And Izzy Dame basically says, hey, you're still that same girl. You haven't changed. Basically saying, you think you found yourself. You think you're this great wrestler now. Well, you're not. You're still the same old boring Tatum Paxley. So I thought that was pretty interesting how they went about that, because again, it's for the fans who aren't very familiar with Tatum like myself, you know, now we got to see this other version of Tatum Paxley, and we can see the difference now between. But what did you think about the video package, Tommy?
Do you now see why I said that in the past Tatum Paxley's been crazy?
Not really. I mean, they didn't. They just showed a few clips. They didn't really explain much about how crazy she used to be, did they? Or did I miss that part?
I think that they didn't fully explain it, but to pretty much go through the entire thing. She used to be crazy as all get out as soon as she lost somebody. Like, when she lost Lyra Valkyria back when she was on NXT, she broke down completely. Same thing happened with the culling, everything like that. But right after she finishes breaking down, she goes absolutely insane. Almost, personally, I will gladly say this, almost the same level as AJ Lee back in the day. Crazy. So, there's that. I'm interested to see where in the world this is going to go.
Give me your prediction, Tommy, for next week.
I don't think Izzy's winning. First defense on Tatum Paxley, and you plan on taking the title off of her? No. This feud will continue going on, for sure, but Tatum Paxley is not losing that North America.
All right, then we go backstage. We had a backstage segment with Ethan Page and Ricky Saints after what we saw at Vengeance Day in the main event, where Ethan Page accidentally overshot the title through Ricky Saints. Did I say that right? Yeah. So, okay. There was some confusion in that main event match between Ethan Page and Ricky Saints. Ricky Saints asked for the belt, and Ethan Page accidentally threw it over to Joe Hendry instead, right? But it looks like Ricky Saints, he didn't seem too mad about that in this backstage segment, because he was like, "Oh, it's fine, you know, things didn't really work out for us, and everything's all cool because we got another opportunity tonight." Ethan Page and Ricky Saints are the main event of this episode of NXT versus Joe Hendry and Myles Borne. But it's important to note this because Ricky Saints said, if we win, then that puts us back in the number one contendership. You for the North American Championship and me for NXT Championship. Two-time champion. If you get the pin, you're going to go for North American Champion. If I get the pin, I'm going to go for the NXT Championship. That's important to note right now because this ties in to the main event later on. Tommy, what did you think about this backstage segment between these?
I found it very interesting with how Ricky Saints was saying everything, because of the fact that it feels like he's underestimating good old Ethan Page. Like, that's the problem. It feels like he's massively underestimated, when in reality, Ethan Page is somebody you should not be underestimated whatsoever. This man is just that damn good to the point where people have been begging WWE to finally pull Ethan Page up to the main roster. So he's massively underestimated by Ricky Sainz.
All right. The first match of the night, Tommy, Jasper Troy versus Eli Knight versus Sean Legacy in a triple threat match. And at first, this match kind of felt like a handicap match to me because Jasper Troy was manhandling both of these guys. And then, oh man, so many triple threat matches. We've been seeing these like so many times, right? And then things finally got a little bit interesting because Keanu Carver, our good friend Keanu Reeves, showed up and attacked Jasper Troy by the announce table, took him out of the match, but, you know, Keanu Carver had to confront Booker T one more time just for good measure. So this triple threat match ended up being a singles match between, it was Sean Legacy and Eli Knight, which is two guys that I'm not really too familiar with. I've seen them a few times, but not enough for me to actually care. So yeah, I was kind of thrown out of this match when Jasper Troy got taken out. But luckily, Jasper Troy revived himself. He got up from that attack by Keanu Carver. The match continued in a triple threat match, but it just felt like this was taking forever for me. And then the match ended with a double pin. Both Eli Knight and Sean Legacy pinned the much bigger Jasper Troy. And to make things even more weirder, the ring announcer was like, oh, this match ended in a draw or something like that. And no, this match ended in a double pin. And the winners are both Eli Knight and Sean Legacy. So they were both crowned the winners of this match, even though technically this was a tie. This was a draw. This should have been like a no contest. But no, they were both named the winners.
I found it interesting because of that. With the fact that with triple threats, we don't see that often. And like, we never really have gotten double pin in a triple threat. And if we have, it's been a hot minute since the last time we have. But what I find interesting about this, not sure if we're going to bring this up or not, but just going to go ahead and say those two were originally going after the speed title until one of the biggest things was announced later on in the night. That being a tag team tournament happening. Eli Knight and Sean Legacy will be in that tournament as a team. They are going after the tag titles. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that goes out too.
All right. Then we had a tag team match. Dempsey and Tavion Heights versus Lexis King and Uriah Connors. Now, this was, I think Dempsey, he is the son of William Regal, if I'm not mistaken. So Lexis King has been trying to recruit him for his little faction that they got going of second generational superstars, right? And they had a nice little tag team match. I really like Dempsey a lot. I don't know how I feel about Uriah Connors. He doesn't really get my attention as much as like Lexis King or Tavion Heights does or some of the other guys. But William Regal and Finley ended up appearing in the middle of this match, which led to Dempsey turning on Tavion Heights in the middle of the match. And Lexis King, Uriah Connors take advantage, and they get the win. Lexis King and Connors defeat Dempsey and Tavion Heights, but Dempsey showed up. He ended up joining Lexis King, Uriah Connors, and their faction. So it was pretty cool to see William Regal and Finley show up. Hopefully we get to see them more on NXT TV. And now they're all working with their kids, basically. But what did you think about this, Tommy?
Unfortunately, that little twist of, hey, look, I'm joining them now, was spoiled for me. Unfortunately, I saw the clip this morning. So at that point, I'm like, wait, what the hell happened? What? So that got spoiled for me. But the match overall, I had a lot of fun with. I really did, just watching it and having some fun with it. So, Charlie Dempsey, didn't think you would randomly also turn on Ren Sinclair in the process, knowing the fact that you're technically still in a faction with her. So, what's up with that, Dempsey? But still, this was, in fact, a pretty fun match for me.
Wait, they're in a faction together? I mean, what am I missing here?
Yes, at one point, and I don't think they fully split it up. Charlie Dempsey was in there, Ren Sinclair was in there, and I cannot remember for the life of me who in the world the rest of them were.
I don't think that's a thing anymore because I haven't seen that on NXT TV in a while. And now he just joined a whole new faction. So I don't think. And plus, Ren Sinclair, we're going to talk about her later on. She's got her own thing going now. So I don't think she has anything to do with it.
Apparently, this new faction has a name now, but I cannot remember for the life of me what the hell it is.
Yeah, I'm not sure because I've just been calling it the faction this whole time. I don't even know. But yeah, I'm sure we'll find out.
Name for the faction during that entrance, but I cannot remember for the life of me what the hell they said.
You know what? I'm going to look it up right now. Hold on. I'm going to look up NXT Lexis King faction name. What pops up? Birthright.
That is such a dumb name.
Yeah. Birthright.
Really just because of the fact that they are like second generation superstars. Sure, that's great. Doesn't mean you have to randomly call them Birthright.
Yeah, in early 2026, this is according to Google, King formed a new faction, Birthright, consisting of second-generation wrestlers with Stax, Ariana Grace, Uriah Connors, and Charlie Dempsey.
That name
there it is.
It's so dumb.
Is it though? I don't know, man. The Birthright. Nah, it does kind of sound dumb.
Yes.
All right, moving on. Tony D'Angelo, we heard from him, and the big question is, what is reason number 2? But I mean, the only thing that really made sense is he has to go for that NXT Championship, right? Because what does Booker T say all the time? Checks and championships, right? And the fact that Tony D'Angelo has been like North American champion and he's had that Heritage Cup thing or whatever. And he explained it in this promo that Tony D'Angelo cut in the middle of the ring on this episode of NXT. I've never been able to win the NXT Championship, so that's my reason number 2. And not only that, he called out Joe Hendry. He said, I don't got a problem with you, Joe Hendry, but if I have to take out your head to get that championship, that's what I'm going to do. So you better watch out. I'm coming. So, I mean, not surprising. I'm glad that that was the reason, because if it was anything else, I probably would have lost interest, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, it only fit. There was no other way that it was going to be anything else other than at least a title. And with the fact that the NXT title is the only one that he has yet to get his grasp on, it only fit. But I love the fact that he brought up his days as the leader of the D'Angelo family, with the fact that he said that back when he was that, he would have just said, hey, let's sit down, let's break some bread, let's talk. But now, if he has to kick some teeth down some throats just to get that NXT title, then that's what he's got to do.
Yeah, big difference. Good promo, too, by Tony D'Angelo. Yeah, man, and this is good news for the NXT title scene, because now we have Ricky Saints, we have Tony D'Angelo, maybe Ethan Page. We'll get more into that in a little bit, but I'm really starting to like how this NXT title scene is shaping up, which is a lot better than what we were seeing before when they did that crazy 6 or 7 man ladder match or whatever. I'm like, man, some of these names, I feel like they don't even belong in the North American title scene, let alone in the NXT title picture, But yeah. having Tony D'Angelo in the NXT title picture, I think it's great, man. It's exciting for sure. All right, then we had Sol Ruka versus Lainey Reed, which is one of the girls from the faction with the NXT Women's Champion. What's the name of that faction?
Fatal in
Lainey Reed from Fatal Influence versus Sol Ruka. They had a long match. And I believe this was I would say this was a warm-up match, but this was way more than just a warm-up match. This is a really competitive match for Sol Ruka. Because Sol Ruka's she's gonna be facing the NXT Women's Champion next week too, right? If I'm not mistaken.
it will be a triple threat between her, Zarya, and JCJ.
Okay, so that's why they had this match. And Sol Ruka won with, in my opinion, one of the shittiest looking finishers in all pro wrestling. But good win on Sol Ruka. What did you think about this, Tommy?
One, I refuse to let you disrespect Sol Ruka like that. Come on. Like, me and Blood both are in agreement here that Sol is absolutely phenomenal, and you are massively underestimating her good friend. But the match itself, I liked it. I didn't fully love it because I knew that odds are with the fact that there's that title match next week that Sol Ruka was not losing. It just wasn't happening. But I do love the fact that they brought up on commentary that this is the first time in a long time that Sol Ruka has not had anybody by her side whatsoever because of Zarya turning on her, which again I felt was a little bit too soon because it could have happened a little bit further down, but it did fit where it was. But still, the match, it was
You feel like it happened too soon? I feel like it took forever. I was like, man, I can't wait for Zarya to get away from Sol Ruka and finally do what she is capable of doing on her own, man. Zarya is the Shawn Michaels of that tag team, bro. That's all I'm saying.
I feel like it could have waited 2 weeks, but at the same time, that was when she was having that NXT Women's title match, which also made it the perfect spot to do it.
All right. And then we had a women's speed match. Ren Sinclair defeated Thea Hale. Is there anything that went down here that's important at all?
No, literally just yet another 3-minute match for Ren Sinclair. That's it.
And I think this was the final, right, of this little thing, speed tournament thing that they do. So Ren Sinclair is going to face the women's speed champion next. Is that what's happening here?
Yep, both title holders of the Fatal Influence will be defending their titles now.
Yippee. All right. And then we had a few announcements. We had a few backstage segments and interviews before the main event. So they announced that NXT Tag Team Tournament that Tommy already mentioned earlier. And it was going to be a bunch of tag teams. But then because all the tag teams got in a big fat fight backstage earlier in the night because it's NXT and everyone's always fighting in the parking lot and backstage and all over the place. Out the Mud and Dark State are out of the tournament. So there's that. It was also announced that Izzy Dame and Tatum Paxley, their ring match is going to be in a steel cage match, which I believe, Tommy, you also mentioned that. And also next week, they're not going to be in the Performance Center like every week. They're going to be in Houston, Texas, home of Booker T in his hometown. So it's going to be Booker T Appreciation Night, whatever that means. So I wonder what they're going to do to honor Booker T. So anything you want to add about all these announcements before we get into the main event, Tommy?
I had a feeling like something was going to happen with Booker T because of the fact that they're going to his hometown. I wasn't expecting them to give him an entire night. I thought they were going to give him a segment here or there just to go, hey, look, here's your hometown guy. That's what I thought was going to happen. But They're giving him an entire night, and I absolutely have a feeling like we might get a video package of a bunch of stuff from his career, including the legendary thing that the fans started chanting right after that was announced, which was the moments of King Booker, in which I have a massive feeling we might get small clips of that because hometown guy.
You think they'll play the famous interview that the promo he cut on Hulk Hogan?
Maybe, but
no, I'm just kidding. That's a joke. You know the interview where he's like, Hulk Hogan, we coming for you, and then he says the N-word.
Oh, that one.
I'm kidding. They're not going to play that. But all right, moving on to the main event, Tommy. The NXT Champion Joe Hendry and the North American Champion Myles Borne tag team together to face the former NXT Champion Ricky Saints and the former North American Champion Ethan Page. And this was a lovely main event, man. It was a fun main event. These are four of the top guys on NXT, all involved in the main event of this episode. So it was great, man. The match was fun. It was dope. It was entertaining. They had a lot of shenanigans going on in the match. Ricky Saints and Ethan Page were kind of, it looked like they weren't communicating well. They weren't getting along. There were some disagreements there in the middle of the match, but they were able to get back on the same page. And it was because, kind of like at the main event, the roles were switched. This time, Ethan Page asked Ricky Saints during the match, hey, throw me the belt. And Ricky Saints completely overshoots it and was like, oops, my bad. Kind of like, hey, this is what you did to me back, at Vengeance the other day. So that was entertaining. And Ethan Page and Ricky Saints got the win after everything, right? After this entertaining main event, Ethan Page got the pin on Joe Hendry, which is important to note because this goes back to that beginning video package where Ricky Saints made the point, hey, if I pin Joe Hendry, I'm the number one contender. If you pin Myles Borne, you're number one contender for North American Champion. And Ethan Page, he got the pin on Joe Hendry. So now, in theory, Ethan Page is lining himself up for a title match versus Joe Hendry. But I don't think Ricky Saints realized that. Ricky Saints he was like, oh, we won, but he didn't see that Ethan Page pinned Joe Hendry. So that's going to be something interesting for next week when Ricky Saints realizes what happened. I'm interested to see what his reaction is going to be, Ricky Saints. But I thought this main event was excellent, Tommy.
I completely agree with that. It absolutely was. But what made it even better is what happened during the credits, actually. So both of them do their iconic little poses and all of that. Ricky does his hand to the face thing. Ethan Page does his finger to the head. Great. But there's this massive moment where not only is Ethan Page pointing at his head like he always does, but he slowly looks over at Ricky Saints. So it's going to be very interesting to see where that goes. I have a massive feeling like Ricky Saints may be getting himself into a little bit more trouble than what he needs to get into. Because like I said before, he is massively underestimating what Ethan Page can do. And I am very, very interested to see where in the world Ethan Page goes with the North American title. Not North American, with the NXT title. But I don't think he needs another title run with it. I think what he needs is to be pulled up to the main roster already. Like everybody's been begging for WWE to do for like 2 years now.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, this is going to be dope, man. It's going to be dope to see Ethan Page get another shot at that NXT championship. Yeah, even though as much as I would like to see Ethan Page in the main roster, I mean, if you call up Ethan Page, I'm going to miss seeing him on NXT a lot too, now that I think about it, because I mean, you only got so many guys that are interesting to me in my opinion on NXT that's even worth watching. Ethan Page is one of them. So I would like, before Ethan Page gets called up, I would like to see him versus Joe Hendry for the NXT Championship. I would also like to see Ethan Page versus Ricky Saints at one point, see what they can do. Maybe they can stir up a feud between them two. Yeah, man, it's just, I'm really enjoying this main event title scene right now. We'll see what happens next week. But before we get out of here, Tommy, I saw online recently that the women's Evolve champion, what's her name again? Kylie Gray, or no? What is it?
Kendall Gray.
Kendall Gray. She defended the Evolve championship tonight, retained it, she won, but then relinquished it right after that. So they're saying she's officially been called up to NXT, but I'm like, man, she's been on NXT every week for like the past, I don't know, fucking months, but she relinquished the Evolve championship tonight, Tommy.
Okay. If Kendall had to relinquish it, hey, Vanity Project, you're still holding yours there, bud. If your entire faction is being called up, relinquish that Evolve title and go full on NXT like you've been trying to do with the entirety of your faction.
Yeah. And now that I think about it, Kendall Gray, she had something to say to the women's NXT champion and their faction. Because they were like, yeah, one of the, what's that faction called again with JC Jane?
Fatal Influence.
Yeah, Kendall Gray was like, oh, one of the Fatal Influence girls are going to lose gold next week, right? And then she made a comment, something like that. Oh, I'm coming after you too. I wasn't sure if she was talking to JC Jane or one of the other girls.
Because she brought up the triple threat.
Okay.
You are able to go through Sol Ruca and Zarya. I'm coming out. That's basically.
Okay. So, hey, it looks like Kendall Gray is coming full force to NXT, and I'm sure that she's going to be going straight after JC Jane, straight for that NXT Women's Championship, which should be interesting, I think.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see how in the world Kendall Gray goes after that NXT title and if she's able to capture it.
Well, that's what happened on NXT this week. It's got some interesting stuff that happened on that episode, but I'm mostly looking forward to next week because we got a lot of shit to look forward to. Steel cage match. We'll see if Ricky Saints has anything to say about how the main event went. What else we got next week, Tommy?
The very beginning of that tag team tournament.
Okay.
With, Hank and Tank and God, I cannot remember who the hell they're going up against.
Yeah, I don't either.
But
yeah,
starts off. The women's NXT title is being defended. The women's speed title is being defended. And I cannot remember everything else they announced.
Yeah, man. They announced a shit ton of stuff for next week. It should be interesting. And we'll be there to see what goes down next week, Tommy. For now, that was it for today. We'll be back again tomorrow for another special episode. We have a special guest joining me and Mr. Blood tomorrow. James Broderick is going to be joining the show. He's an actor. He's been on a bunch of movies. He's the son of actor Matthew Broderick, and his mom is also an actress too. I can't remember her name, but I know my wife is a really big fan of her. Yeah, he's a huge wrestling fan, lifelong wrestling fan. So we're going to hang out with him for a bit and, talk some wrestling with him, hear about his favorite wrestlers and matches, experience as a pro wrestling fan. So it should be fun, man. It's going to be. Until then, let's get up out of here, Tommy.
All right, you can catch the entire Snug Crew every Monday and Friday for Raw and SmackDown, respectively. You can catch me and Snug right here for NXT review as well. Every Thursday, you've got that one-on-one with Mr. Blood. on TikTok Live every Thursday. Also, go get your merch. That is at tpublic.com/snug_wrestling. That is TEE public.com/snug_wrestling. So, stay safe, stay savage, and stay snug. And that was one time for the one time. 4 letters, 1 word. Yeet.